This is for all of those who are in a dating spiral. Maybe you've been dating one person after another and keep running into the same things where it's not quite working. Maybe you've been doing this for many years, or maybe you're just out of a long term relationship and you're not really sure how to date and you're kind of fumbling through it and it's just not working. Something is just not really connecting for you. And each time you come out of a relationship, maybe you think, okay, I'll do it differently this time. I'll do the opposite of what I've been doing. Take a break. Take a break. And I give you some ideas of what you can do during that break to really reset your whole system. Because sometimes we need that reset. If we're just fumbling from one relationship to another, we're going to keep fumbling. We're going to keep stumbling. We're going to hurt others. So we're going to hurt ourselves. We're not going to create the relationships that are really possible when it comes down to it. Going from one relationship to another feels like you're moving forward, but that's actually where you might be getting stuck. And so, relationship reset, I think, is an answer. Now, one of my teachers, John Wineland, calls something like this a feminine cleanse. Kendra Kunov calls it a no man diet. And what I'm going to present to you is similar to both. It also pulls in a few other things that I've learned along the way from coaching my own clients and my own relationship. So let's define what a relationship reset is. It is a conscious break from dating and the whole relationship scene. And it's not out of fear though. It's out of a place of wisdom. It's a chance to pause, to reflect, to recenter your heart, to become intimate with yourself. In many cases, to become intimate with the divine. But the way to get there is to hold off actually on intimacy with other people. And so let me give you a few things. For one, why it's so important. I found it so important because what we often do is we leave a relationship and there might be something in us that feels like, oh, I need to still be like, I'm missing something. I need this dopamine hit. I need this sense of security. I need to know where I'm going in life. And so we do it out of a sense of fear. Let me just glom on, bring in, manifest this next person because they're going to be somehow different than the last person. Now, sometimes that's true. But even when they are different from the last person, we're not necessarily different. We might think we are. We might think we are. I know that when I was on the dating scene again after a 20 plus year marriage, I had people on the apps were saying, if you haven't been out of your relationship, like a long time marriage, for at least 3 or 4 years, then please swipe left. And I thought, well, I'm ready. What do you mean swipe left? Like I've done all this work, I'm ready. But they were right. They were right. It takes a reset to be able to step into a new relationship, or you step in recognizing, hey, I've got a lot of work to do still. Let me step in slowly, which is actually what I did. Let me step in as a practice. Let me step in very tenderly with my own heart and with her heart so that we can create a successful relationship. In most cases, that's not possible. What works really well is to step back from it all, to let go of the scarcity of, oh, if I step back from the dating scene, I'm going to miss my chance. This idea that like there's only one person out there. And that's a fairy tale story that there's only one person out there. There are actually lots of people out there. There are billions of people out there. And there are many in those billions who could be a beautiful match for us. And so this practice of a relationship reset, for one, takes a little trust in the universe, trust in God, in the infinite, that that person or those people will be there when I come out of it. And that's scary. That's scary, right? If we've been in a relationship for a while, for many years, it's scary just to let go and say, okay, let me go and reset, which means a pulling back from so that I can feel that inner being, that inner oneness, that inner knowingness, and let me trust that when I come out of it, that it'll be the right time, that I'll be ready, that that person, whoever is out there, will be ready, and it'll be a perfect match. So a reset, how do we do it? We create containers. And by that, I mean we create a structure for what this is going to look like. A typical relationship reset might be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months long. And in that time, there's no dating, there's no situationships, there's no flirting with, the person serving your coffee at the coffee shop. There's no, I'm just talking. There's no scrolling through and stalking someone's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or something like that. It really is hey, let me let go of the gender to whom I'm typically attracted. Let me let go of those people for this time. Now, obviously, if we're males, we're typically attracted to females. There might be lots of women in our circle that we need to keep communication with. We work with them. There are siblings or something like that. But everyone else, we do a polite bow to, and we let go of the the energy charge with them. And so there's a commitment to, I'm going to kind of box myself in. It's not a great word for it, but I'm going to create some boundaries. Yeah, it's a better word. I'm going to create some boundaries in my life and how I live my life. So I'm only giving energy to myself and to places that are healing. It's kind of like fasting. For fasting, we fast for a day or even just a number of hours. It's not meant to be punishment, but rather it's meant to cleanse my body so that I can come out of that time period in a healthier way. And it's the same thing with a relationship reset. We're going to cleanse that part of our body that's needy, that's graspy, that's leaking sexual energy, so that we can come out healthier and happier and more at one. So the first thing is we're going to make this commitment. The second thing is we're going to find people in our lives who will be our kind of our board of directors, our accountability group. It might be a coach, might be someone like me. It might be a couple, if you're a man, a couple men in your life. If you're a woman, a couple women in your life. People you can trust to lovingly be sharp with you, to hold you accountable. People you can go to with, here's how I'm going to create this, and they'll answer the questions of what am I missing? So I might create this, I'm going to spend this next 6 months and I'm not going to interact with women in anything that's other than transactional. It'll be very polite. It'll be very, respectful, but there's not going to be a sexual energy exchange. And that means with human people who are in front of me, but that also means no stalking on Facebook, as I said earlier. Stalking, not the greatest word. No lurking there. No looking at porn. No fantasizing about my colleague. I'm going to let go of all that stuff, and so I'll go to this group that I've formed, or my coach, and I'll say, what have I missed? Have I missed anything in here that I'm trying to kind of skirt around that you might want to call me on? Or is there anything I'm doing in here that seems like it's too much? Like maybe it's punitive. Maybe I am saying, I'm not going to ever talk to another woman again. I mean, that's really not going to be possible, and it's not going to be successful. It's not going to be healthy. So my team is going to help me understand where I, I am not creating a strong enough boundary and where maybe it becomes punitive and I might want to back off a little bit. So that's the first couple steps. One is I'm going to acknowledge I need to do this. I'm going to commit myself to creating some of these boundaries. I'm going to create a team that's going to support me during this time. And then in addition to what I'm not going to do, like have these relationships, situationships, here's what I am going to do. I'm going to work on recalibrating my nervous system. Maybe that's doing a lot of breath work. Maybe that's doing a lot of trail running. Maybe that's being out in nature. Maybe that's meditation. Maybe that's prayer. Whatever it is, something that's going to feed me, that's going to serve me, so that while I'm cutting out all the energy pull that I might want from women or men, instead I'm going to create this from an internal place or from the great external, right? Part of this is what can I develop within myself? What can I nurture and nourish within myself? But for some of us also, it's what is my connection with the infinite, with source, with God, with goddess? What is something bigger than me that also can serve me during this time? Also, during this relationship reset, I'm going to start looking at patterns. Where in the past in my relationships have I not shown up fully? Where have I dimmed my own light? Where have I made myself wrong for how I was feeling? Where have I made them wrong for the feelings they had? Right? The expression of those feelings, certainly there's a boundary that you put up, but where have I made them wrong just for having feelings? Where have I made them wrong for being human? Where have I made myself wrong? So starting to see the patterns that we have in our lives, which can often be traced back to childhood, but certainly where are the adult patterns that I've had in my life. We've made a commitment. We've collected a team. We've started to bring in things that nourish us. We've started to look at our patterns. And through this, you'll often find is that you're able to start building trust with yourself. Maybe you start taking yourself even on dates, whether it's to dinner, maybe it's a hike, maybe it's a vacation. You start to build trust with yourself, enjoy being with yourself, because often this need to be in a relationship is because we are not so comfortable just being with ourselves. We're not comfortable sitting in silence with ourselves. We need this external validation and stimulation. And so, if we can, over this period of time, turn that to something that comes internally, self validation, creation of energy just within the self. Wow, that's a beautiful relationship. Toward the end of this period, whether you decide it's going to be 3 months or 9 months, whatever it might be, having checked in with your team over time, at some point, you're going to go to your team and say, hey, I think I'm ready. I think I've gotten to this place where I can go out into the dating world again from this place of, I don't need anyone else. I have everything I need in here. And the relationship that I'm seeking is kind of like the cherry on top. It's going to simply add value to this beautiful life that I've already created. So that's the path. Having guided people along this path, I can tell you it's not an easy path. There is a wave that comes through. There's a, okay, I can do it. Oh, this is really hard. Maybe it's a down wave. Oh, I can do it. Oh, this is really hard. But then there's a place of, oh, this actually feels really good. Once we get to that, oh, it feels really good. We want to stay there just a little longer. But that's the time we recognize, oh, this feels really good. And wouldn't it be nice to share this in a loving relationship? If you are in this pattern, if you are in this pattern of in relationship, out of relationship, in relationship, out of relationship, this might be the next step for you, the relationship reset. I've laid it out here. I think it's simple enough to follow. If you'd like some support in it, put a note below, reach out to me below if you'd like to really work with me on it. Happy to do that as well. I think it's going to serve you. What I typically see is that people come out of this reset, and right there is the person really they had been waiting for. They may not look like the person they had imagined prior, but now they're seeing the world through a different lens, and they recognize, oh, that's the person. That's the person who's going to love me exactly as I've blossomed from this place, and with whom I would love to go through this next chapter of my life by my side, living and loving and celebrating everything there is. Wherever you are on the journey, I hope that this serves you. I'd love to hear some comments below. If you'd like to share them, again, if I can support you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. And I wish you many blessings on this journey.